First of all, duh. Second of all, April Fools. Third of all, duh. I would not be playing this game. I do not care for first person shooters. This is the most generic first person shooter I can think of. It's just yeah. Yeah, and also my capture card is still on the fritz, and I haven't gotten a new one yet. I don't even own this game. I have no plans to own this game. If somebody gave me this game, I'd probably sell it. Maybe get a couple of bucks. I don't care. So, yeah. Now for the next while, you get to hear me read out the Bear or the Boar, a one-act play by Anton Chekhov. So, the scene is a well-furnished reception room with Mrs. Popova's home. Mrs. Popova is discovered in a deep mourning, sitting on a sofa, gazing steadfastly at a photograph. Luca, her assistant, is also present. "It isn't right, ma'am. You're wearing yourself out. The maid and the cook have gone looking for berries. Everything that breathes is enjoying life. Even the cat knows how to be happy. Slips about the courtyard and catches birds. But you hide yourself here in the house, as though you were a cloister." Huh? "Yes, truly. By actual reckoning, you haven't left this house for a whole year." "And I shall never leave. Why should I? My life is over. He lies in his grave, and I have buried myself within these four walls. We are both dead." "There you are again. It's too awful to listen to. So it is. Nikolai Machiakov, her husband guy, is dead. It it was the will of the Lord, and the Lord has given him eternal peace. You've grieved over it, and that ought to be enough. Now it's time to stop. One can't weep and we're mourning forever. My wife died a few years ago. I grieved for her. I wept a whole month, and then it was over. Must be forever singing lamentations? Must one forever sing lamentations? That would be more than your husband was worth. You've forgotten all your neighbors. You don't go out, and you receive no one. We live, you'll pardon me, like the spiders, and the good lights of the day we never see. All the Liverley is eaten by mice, as though there weren't any more nice people in the world, but the whole neighborhood is full of gentle folk. The regiment is stationed by Ryblav. Officers, simply beautiful. One can't see enough of them. Every Friday, a ball, a military music every day. Oh, my dear, dear ma'am, young and pretty as you are, if you'd only let your spirits live, beauty can't last forever. When 10 short years are over, you'll be glad enough to go out a bit and meet the officers, and then it'll be too late." "Please, don't speak of these things. You know very well that since the death of my husband, my life is absolutely nothing to me. You think I live, but it only seems so. Do you understand? Oh, that his desperated soul may see how I love him. I know, it's no secret to you. He was often unjust to me, cruel, and he wasn't faithful. But I shall be faithful to grieve and prove to him how much I can love. There, in beyond, he'll find me the same as I was until his death." What is the use of all of these words, when you'd so much rather go walking in the garden, or order Toby or Welkin harnessed to the trap, and visit neighbors? I think Toby and Welkin are horses or something. "Oh," she's crying. I'm not good at doing a woman crying. Well, I am, but I'm not good at playing one. Ha ha! There's gonna be those throughout this. I'm not taking this seriously. Let's see. "Madame, Dear madame, what is it? In heaven's name.
He loved Toby so, he always drove him to the place, or the other place. These Russian names I cannot pronounce. What a wonderful horseman he was! How fine he looked when he pulled at the reins with all his might! Toby, Toby, give him an extra measure of oats today.
Yes, ma'am. The doorbell rings.
Huh? What's that? Am I am at home to no one.
Yes, ma'am. He goes out of the scene. Miss Popova is, or Mrs. Popova is gazing at the photograph.
You'll see, Nikolai.
I think it's Nikolai, like Nikolai Tesla.
You'll see, Nikolai, how I can love and forgive. My love will die only with me. When my poor heart stops beating.
She smiles through her tears.
And aren't you ashamed? I've been a good, true wife. I've imprisoned myself, and I shall remain true until death. And you're not ashamed of yourself, my dear monster. You quarreled with me, left me alone for weeks.
Luca enters in great excitement. Oh, ma'am, someone is asking for you, insists on seeing you.
You told him that since my husband's death I received no one.
I said so, but he won't listen. He says it is a pressing matter.
I received no one.
I told him that, but he's a wild man. He spoke and pushed himself into the room. He's in the dining room now.
Good. Show him in, the impudent.
Luca goes out.
What a bore people are. What can they want with me? Why do they disturb my peace? Yes, it is clear. I must convent. Yes, a convent.
No. Must enter a convent, like become a nun. I didn't get that at first either. So Smirnov enters, followed by Luca. Smirnov talking to Luca. Fool! You made too much noise. You're an ass! Discovering Miss Popova politely. Madame, I have the honor to introduce myself. Lieutenant in the artillery, retired, country gentleman, Gregory Stepanov Smirnov. I am compelled to bother you and an excitingly important matter. Miss Popova does not offer her hand.
What is your wish?
Your deceased husband, with whom I had honor of being acquainted, left me 2 notes amounting to about 1,200 rubles. Rubles, dollars, whatever. Inasmuch as I have to pay the interest tomorrow on a loan from my Aragonian bank, I should like to request, madame, that you pay me the money today.
1,200? And for what is my husband indebted to you?
He bought oats from me. Miss Popova with a sigh to Luca.
Don't forget to give Toby an extra measure of oats.
Bitch alert. Luca leaves. Miss Popova to Smirnov.
If Nikolai is indebted to you, I shall of course pay you, but I am sorry, I haven't the money today. Tomorrow my manager will return from the city, and I shall notify him to pay you with what is due to you. But until then, I cannot satisfy your request. Furthermore, today is just 7 months since the death of my husband, and I am not in the mood to discuss money matters.
And I am not in the mood to fly up the chimney with my feet in the air if I can't lay hands on the interest tomorrow. They'll seize my estate.
Day after tomorrow you will receive your money.
I don't need the money the day after tomorrow. I need it today.
I'm sorry, I can't pay you today.
And I can't wait till the day after tomorrow.
But what can I do if I haven't it?
So you can't pay?
I cannot.
Is that your last word?
My last.
Absolutely?
Absolutely.
Thank you. He shrugs his shoulders. and they expect me to stand for all that. The toll gatherer just now met me in the road and asked why I was always worrying. Why, in heaven's name, shouldn't I worry? I need money. I feel the knife at my throat. Yesterday morning I left my house in the early dawn and canceled all of my debtors. If even one of them had paid his debt, I worked the skin off my fingers. The devil knows in what sort of Jew-inn I slept. Huh. Anti-Semitism watch? In a room with a barrel of brandy, and now at last I come here, 70 versts from home, hope for a little money, and all of you give me the moods. Why shouldn't I worry?
I thought I made it plain to you that my manager will return from town, and then you will get your money.
I did not come to see the manager. I came to see you. What the devil, pardon my language, do I care for your manager?
Really, sir, I am not used to such language or such manners. I shan't listen to you further.
She goes out, left. What can one say to that? Moods. 7 months since her husband died. Do I have to pay the interest or not? I repeat the question. Have I to pay the interest or not? The husband is dead and all that. The manager is, the devil with him, traveling somewhere. Now tell me, what am I to do? Shall I run away from my creditors in a balloon, or knock my head against a stone wall? If I call on Grustev, he chooses to be not at home. Orishdev, the other guy, has simply hidden himself and quarreled with Kurzin and came near the throwing out of the window. Mustav is ill, and this woman has moods. Not one of them will pay up, and all because I've spoiled them, because I'm an old whiner, dish rag. I'm too tender-hearted with them. But wait, I allow nobody to play tricks on with me. The devil with them all. I'll stay here and not budge until she pays. Ugh. How angry I am! How terribly angry I am! Every tendon is trembling with anger, and I can hardly breathe. I am even growing ill. Servant! Luka enters. What is it you wish? Bring me kvass or water. Luka goes out. Well, what can we do? She hasn't it on hand. What sort of logic is that? A fellow stands with a knife at his throat. He needs money. He is not on the point of hanging himself, and she won't pay because she isn't in the mood to discuss money matters. Woman's logic. That's why I never like to talk to women, and why I dislike doing it now. I'd rather sit on a powder barrel than talk with a woman. Ugh. I'm getting cold as ice. This affair has made me so angry. I need only to see such a romantic creature from the distance to get so angry, and I have cramps in my calves. It's even to make one yell for help. Enter Luka. Luka hands him water. Madame is ill and not receiving. March! Luka goes out. Ill and isn't receiving? All right. It isn't necessary. I won't receive either. I'll sit here and stay until you bring that money. If you're ill all week, I'll sit here all week. If you're ill all year, I'll sit here all year. As heaven as my witness, I'll get the money. You don't disturb me with your mornings or with your dimples. We know these dimples. He calls out the window. Simon, unharass. We aren't going to leave right away. I'm going to stay here. Tell them in the stable to give the horses some oats. I left horse has twisted the bridle again. Imitating him. Stop! I'll show you how. Stop! Leaves window. It's awfully unbearable heat. No money. Didn't sleep last night, and now morning. Dresses with moods. My heart aches. Perhaps I ought to have a drink. Yes, I must have a drink. Servant! What do you wish? Something to drink. Luca goes out. Smirnov sits down and looks at his clothes. Ugh. A fine figure. No use denying that. Dust, dirty boots, unwashed, uncombed, straw on my vest. The lady probably took me for a highwayman. It was a little impolite to come into a reception room with such clothes. Oh, well, no harm done. I'm not here as a guest, I'm a creditor, and that's no special costume for creditors. Luca entering with a glass. You take great liberties, sir. What? I just... Whom are you talking to? Keep quiet. Nice mess. The fellow won't leave. He goes out. Lord, how angry I am. Angry enough to throw mud at the whole world. I even feel ill. Servant! Miss Popova comes in with downcast eyes.
Sir, in my solitude I have become unaccustomed to the human voice, and I cannot stand the sound of loud talking. I beg you, please cease your disturbing my rest.
Pay me my money and I'll leave.
I told you once plainly, in your native tongue, that I haven't the money at hand. Wait until the day after tomorrow.
And I also had the honor of informing you that in your native tongue that I need the money, not the day after tomorrow, but today. If you don't pay me today, I shall have to hang myself tomorrow.
But what can I do if I haven't the money?
So you are going to pay... So you are not going to pay me immediately, you're not?
I cannot.
Then I'll sit here until I get the money. Sits down. You will pay day after tomorrow. Excellent. Here I stay until the day after tomorrow. Jumps up. I ask you, do I have to pay the interest tomorrow or not? Or do you think I'm joking?
Sir, I beg of you, don't scream. This is not a stable.
I'm not talking about stables. I'm asking you whether I have to pay the interest tomorrow or not.
You have no idea how to treat a lady.
Oh, yes, I have.
No, you have not. You are an ill-bred, vulgar person. Respectable people do not speak to ladies.
How remarkable. How do you want one to speak to you? In French, perhaps? Madame, je vous prie. Pardon me for having disturbed you. What beautiful weather we are having today. And now the morning becomes you.
Not at all funny. I think it vulgar.
Not at all funny. Vulgar. I don't understand how you behave in the company of ladies. Madame, in the course of my life, I have seen more women than you have sparrows. 3 times I've fought duels for women. 12 I've jitted. 9 have jitted me. There was the time when I played the fool, used honeyed language, bowed and scraped. I loved, suffered, sighed into the moon, melted in love's torments. I loved passionately. I loved to madness. I loved in every key. Chattered like a magpie in emancipation. Sacrificed half my fortune in the tender passion. Until now, the devil knows I've had enough of it. Your obedient servant. But Luke is not a snake. Your obedient servant will let you lead him around by the nose no more. Enough! Black eyes, passionate eyes, coral lips, dimples in cheeks, moonlit whispers, soft, modest sighs. For all that, madame, I wouldn't pay a kopeck. I am not speaking of present company, but of women in general. For the tiniest to the greatest, they are conceited, hypocritical, chatting, odious, deceitful from top to toe, vain, petty, cruel, with maddening logic, and strikes his forehead, so basically facepalm. In this respect, please excuse my frankness, but 1 sparrow is worth 10 of the aforementioned periodical philosophers. When one sees one of the romantic creatures before him, he imagines he is looking at some holy being, so wonderful that its one breath could dissolve him in a sea of 1,000 charms and delights. But if one looks into the soul, it's nothing but a common crocodile. He seizes the arm of the chair and breaks it in two. But the worst of all is that this crocodile imagines it is a masterpiece of creation, and that it has a monopoly on all of the tender passions. May the devil hang me upside down if there is anything to love about a woman. When she is in love, all she knows is how to complain and shed tears. If the man suffers and makes sacrifices, she swings her train about and tires to lead him by the nose. You have the misfortune to be a woman, and naturally you know a woman's nature. Tell me on your honor, have you ever in your life seen a woman who is really true and faithful? Never! Only the old and deformed are true and faithful. It's easier to find a cat with horns or a white woodcock than a faithful woman.
But allow me to ask, who is true and faithful in love? The man, perhaps?
Yes, indeed, the man.
The man! Ha! The man true and faithful in love. Well, that is something new.
Bitterly.
How can you make such a statement? Men are true and faithful. So long as we have gone thus far, I may as well say that of all men I have known, my husband was the best. I loved him passionately, with all my soul, as only a young, sensible woman may love. I gave him my youth, my happiness, my fortune, my life. I worshipped him like a heathen, and what happened? The best of men betrayed me in every possible way. After his death, I found his desk filled with love letters. While he was alive, he left me alone for months. It is horrible even to think about it. He made love to other women in the very presence. He wasted my money and made fun of my feelings, and in spite of everything, I trusted him and what made true of him. And more than that, he is dead, and I am still true to him. I have buried myself within these four walls. I shall wear this mourning to my grave.
Ha ha ha! Mourning! What on earth do you take me for? As if I didn't know why you were in this black domino, and why you buried yourself within these four walls. Such a secret, such a romantic. Some knight will pass the castle, gaze up at the windows, and think to himself, here dwells the mysterious Tamara, who, for love of her husband, has buried herself within the four walls. Oh, I understand the art. Popova springs up.
What do you mean by saying such things to me?
You've buried yourself alive, but meanwhile you've forgotten you've forgotten to powder your nose.
How dare you speak so?
Don't scream at me, please. I'm not a manager. Allow me to call things by their right names. I am not a woman. I am accused to speak out what I think, so please don't scream.
I'm not screaming. It is you who are screaming. Please leave. I beg you.
Pay me my money, and I'll leave.
I won't give you your money.
You won't? You won't give me my money.
I don't care what you do. You won't get a cockpeck. Leave me.
As I haven't had the pleasure of being either your husband or your fiancé, please don't make a scene. Sits down. I can't stand it.
You are going to sit down?
I have already.
Kindly leave my house.
Give me my money.
I don't care to speak with impudent men. Leave. You aren't going?
No.
No?
No.
Very well.
She rings the bell. Enter Luka.
Luka, show this gentleman out.
Luka, going to Smirnov. Sir, why don't you leave when you were ordered? What do you want? Smirnov jumps up. Whom do you think you are talking to? I'll grind you to powder. Luka puts his hand on his heart. Good Lord! He drops into a chair. Oh, I am ill. I can't breathe.
Where is Dashka? Dashka! Pelizha! Dashka!
They're all gone. I'm ill. Water! Miss Popova to Smirnov.
Leave. Get out.
Kindly be a little more polite. Miss Popova striking her fist and stamping her feet.
You are vulgar. You're a boor, a monster, a bear.
What did you say?
I said you are a boor, a monster.
Smirnov steps towards her quickly. Permit me to ask what right you have to insult me.
What of it? Do you think I'm afraid of you?
And you think that because you are a romantic creature, you can insult me without being punished? I challenge you. Luca.
Merciful heaven, water.
We'll have a duel.
Do you think because you have big fists and a steer neck I'm afraid of you?
I allow no one to insult me. I make no exception because you are a woman. One of the weaker sex. Miss Popova.
Boor, boor, boor.
It is high time to do away with these old superstitions that only the man who is forced to give satisfaction. If there is equality at all, let there be equality in all things. There is a limit.
You wish to fight a duel? Very well.
Immediately.
Immediately. My husband has pistols. I'll bring them.
She hurries away, then turns.
Oh, what a pleasure it will be to put a bullet in your impudent head. The devil take you.
She goes out. I'll shoot her down. I'm no fledgling, no sentimental young puppy. For me, there is no weaker sex. Luca.
Oh, sir,
falls to his knees.
Have mercy on me, an old man, and go away. You have frightened me to death already, and now you want to fight a duel?
Smirnov paying no attention. A duel! The equity, the emancipation, that way the sexes are made equal. I'll shoot her down as a matter of principle. What can a person say to such a woman? Imitating her.
The devil take you. I'll put a bullet in your impudent head.
What can one say to that? She was angry. Her eyes blazed. She accepted the challenge. On my honor, it's the first time in my life that I have ever saw such a woman.
Oh, sir, go away. Go away.
That is a woman. I can understand her. A real woman. No shilly-shallying, but fire, powder, and noise. It would be a pity to shoot a woman like that. Luca, weeping.
Oh, sir, go away.
Enter Miss Popova.
Here are the pistols, but before we have our duel, please show me how to shoot. I have never had a pistol in my hand before.
Luca.
God be merciful and have pity upon us. I'll go and get the gardener and the coachman. Why has this horror come to us?
He goes out. Smirnov looking at the pistols. You see, there are different kinds. These are special dueling pistols, with a cap and a ball, but these aren't revolvers. Smiths and Wesson, with ejectors, fine pistols. A pair like that costs at least 90 rubles. This is the way to hold a revolver, sighed. Those eyes, a real woman.
Like this?
Yes, that way. Then you pull back the hammer, so. Then you aim, put your head back just a little. Just stretch your arm out, please. So, then press your finger on the thing like that, and that's all. The chief thing is this. Don't get excited, don't hurry your aim, and take care that your hand doesn't tremble.
It isn't well to shoot inside. Let's go into the garden.
I'll tell you now. I'm going to shoot into the air.
That's too much. Why?
Because that's my business.
You are afraid. Yes. Ha ha ha. No, no, my dear sir. No flitchling. Please follow me. I won't rest until I've made a hole in that head I hate so much. Are you afraid?
Yes, I'm afraid.
You are lying. Why won't you fight?
Because I like you.
Ha 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 ha! You like me? He dares to say he likes me.
She points to the door. Go! Smirnov lays the revolver silently on the table. and takes his hat and stares at the door. He stops a moment, gazing at her silently, then approaches her hesitantly. Listen, are you still angry? I was mad at the devil, but please understand me. Mad as the devil. How can I express myself? Things the thing is like this. Such things are, he raises his voice. Now, it's my fault that you owe me money. Grasps the chair which breaks. The devil know what breakable furniture you have. I like you. Do you understand? I'm almost in love.
Leave. I hate you.
Lord, what a woman. I've never in my life met one like her. I've lost, ruined, I've been caught like a mouse in a trap.
Go, or I'll shoot.
Shoot! You have no idea what happens it would be to die at the sight of such beautiful eyes. To die from the revolver in this little velvet hand. I'm mad. Consider it and decide immediately, for if I go now, we shall never see each other again. Decide. Speak. I am noble, a respectable man. I have an income of 10,000. I can shoot a coin thrown into the air. I own some fine horses. Will you be my life? My wife? Yeah, same thing.
I'll shoot.
My mind is not clear. I can't understand. Servant, water. I have fallen in love like a young man. Takes her hand and cries with pain. I love you, he kneels. I love you as I have never loved before. 12 women I've jitted, 9 have jitted me, but not one of them all have I loved as I loved you. I conquered, lost. I lie at your feet like a fool and beg for your hand. Shame and disgrace. For 5 years I haven't been in love. I thank the Lord for it. And now I am caught like a carriage, tongue in another carriage. I beg you for your hand. Yes or no. Will you? Good. Gets up and goes quickly to the door.
Wait a minute.
He stops. Well?
Nothing. You may go. But wait a moment. No, go on. Go on. I hate you. Or, no, don't go. If you knew how angry I was. How angry!
She throws the revolver on the chair.
My fingers are swollen from this thing.
She angrily tears at her handkerchief.
Why are you standing there for? Get out.
Farewell.
Yes, go. Why are you going? Wait, no, go. Oh, how angry I am. Don't you come near. Don't come near. Come no nearer.
Smirnoff approaches her. How angry I am with myself. Fall in love like a schoolboy. Throw myself on my knees. I've got a chill. Ugh. I love you. This is fine. All I needed was to fall in love. Tomorrow I have to pay my interest, and the hay harvest has begun. And then you appear. Takes her in his arms. I can never forgive myself.
Go away. Take your hands off me. I hate you. This is...
A long kiss. Enter Luca, with an axe, and the gardener with a rake. The coachman and a pitchfork. The workman with poles. Merciful heavens! A long pause. Miss Popova dropping her eyes.
Tell them in the stable that Toby isn't to have any oats.
Curtain. Well, that was the bear, and wow, this was a lot longer than I expected it to be. So, yeah, that's your April Fool's joke. I read an entire one-act play. Huh. So, yeah. That was interesting. I do like yelling, and that's why I chose this play. I should probably end this before it gets any further. So yeah, I'm never ever ever playing Call of Duty. I can't believe you sat through me reading that entire thing. This is me, Thrash02, saying be cool, save often, and don't do anything I wouldn't.